Okay, so now that's a tricky point. VO2 kinetics. This phase is supposed to be an exponential phase. If you look at the results of polar Radcliffe, it looks like a rectangle. The time constant, 8 to 10 seconds, is so short in this amazing athlete that you can't see the curve. So that's very, very short. And it just emphasized that aerobically trained athletes will speed their kinetics. And just keep in mind, if you speed your kinetics, it's likely you will increase your clinical power. It's been shown also that if you compare international and regional level athletes, unfortunately we don't have that time track, and that's why I have to take sport. You will get faster kinetics in the international level athletes, so they reach the plateau quicker than in the regional, and this constant time of the primary phase is related to your performance level. It has a direct influence on your performance level. Relationship between kinetics and 2000 meter performance. There are many data in different sports. We're still missing data in swimming for technological difficulties, but in rowing, in cycling, in running, there are now a lot of data that support this view that elite athletes tend to have a faster kinetics. It has obviously some practical application. Here, I did show what can be an interval of 30 seconds. If you have a slow kinetics, or if you have a fast kinetics, 10 seconds, like Polar Radcliffe. Polar Radcliffe, after 30 seconds, she would reach 95% of plateau speed state. If you have a slow kinetics, 45 seconds, quite average, then you will reach only 50%. So we had some studies showing that if you have a fast kinetics, then you can benefit more from short intermittent or short interval training in running or even cycling. We know also that there are some differences between the activities. So it is not a simple parameter. For example, we know that in cycling, that's in black here, the kinetics is slower than in running. Again, you will reach the plateau quicker. And it's probably why coaches, after years and years of experience, are not using to the same extent supramaximal intermittent training in cycling, because it is slow kinetics than in running. It is widely used in running, less used in cycling, and not used at all in swimming. And why it is not used in swimming? Because, again, VO2 kinetics in swimming is even slower than in cycling. You have the data here. 16 seconds for the time constant, hard cranking 25 seconds, swimming 30 seconds. So it's more or less twice slower in swimming than in cycling, and cycling is slower than running. That's why probably you won't see too many short intermittent training in swimming. Why is it slower? First of all, due to the upper body muscles. There are more fast twitch fibers in the upper body muscles, and there are also some other confounding factors. There is the influence of the ventilatory wall, the competition with the muscle perfusion, the locomotion, the respiration locomotion coupling, the influence of the thermoregulation, and the most obvious one, the body position. In swimming, you have a supine position and you get a lower orthostatic pressure. That will influence directly the return of the blood to the right heart, and that will influence the VO2 kinetics. So, what do we know about VO2 kinetics in triathlon? And I just start with that. To my view, to compare the VO2 kinetics parameters between Olympic distance long-distance triathletes or various performance level appears to be as a first priority to characterize a training adaptation. So far, we know almost nothing. The NADE in Brazil did report that it was quite similar between treadmill and cycle ergometer. For the triathletes, 32 and 40 seconds, that's a time constant, but it wasn't different than for runners and for cyclists. And we did measure also in 2002 the effect of 14 weeks of training on the VO2 kinetics. It was a group of about 20 athletes. Only the athletes with the lowest VO2 max, 64, benefited in terms of the speed of their kinetics from this program. So it is not so clear that you will improve the kinetics, even if we all agree, actually we don't. That is an important parameter. It is not so clear how you can really improve the speed of your kinetics. So far, they are very little study on that. One of the last points, heart rate. So you know that similarly than VO2 max, treadmill heart rate is likely to be higher than cycling heart rate, about 5 to 10% higher. But we know also that 5% does not look so different. But if we look at the relationship between heart rate, exercise intensity or VO2, it is exercise dependent. So even if you have the same heart rate max on incremental test exertion or treadmill or on cycle ergometer, it is likely that for a given percent of VO2 you will not get the same heart rate. And as you know, heart rate as one of the thresholds that we can call the aerobic threshold, is not a good term, is largely prescribed. Is largely used to prescribe the submaximal exercise training intensity and loads. And in triathletes, the heart rate associated with the aerobic threshold is higher in running than in cycling. The differences between cycling and running, even with the same maximal heart rate, can be very large. Some studies report up to 20 beats per minute between the two activities. That means that in terms of the specificity of testing, you have to be tested in your sport. There's no, or it's very difficult to use a treadmill test to prescribe the training intensities in cycling or vice versa. You have to use the test in each sport, including for the triathletes. Anyway, it seems if you don't have the choice, it seems more valuable to test a cyclist on the treadmill than to test the runners on an ergocycle. The runners on an ergocycle is likely, some of them will not reach the maximality criteria. And even if you have the right test in the lab, in the right activity, Kenny just reported that the relationship between heart rate and VO2 power output is different if you test the guy on an ergocycle in the lab. If you test the guy in the lab on the treadmill cycling, like they have in Magningen, they have a large treadmill, or they have also in Cologne, in Germany, you can test the people on their own bike on the treadmill, but the relationship will be different than the one that you can measure directly in the real world, in the track road condition. Therefore, it seems impossible to determine the heart rate of the different intensity zones in cycling and running from a single test. And it is inaccurate to define submaximal heart rate from one single test. So what? This slide is a nice one. There are still many